As you were being told, we have been with the village for a very long time. We started out there as what was called house parents, because at that time they hoped that the children lived in a setting that was more home-like rather than institutional. So we were there 24 hours a day, 5 days a week, and then would have 2 to 3 days off. I was 19 years old. They hired me. Brian had a degree in teaching. So he was the key. He's the key reason we got started here. They told me to look old. Look old, act older than you are. So we had 12 adolescent delinquent boys in our cottage. The oldest one was 18. I was 19. It was quite a challenge, I will be honest. Brian loved it. He just thrived. He had 12 little brothers almost, and constantly football, basketball, kept him so busy, and we were very successful because of that. Needless to say, I was the one that we fixed breakfast for them, so can you imagine frying bacon for 12 adolescent boys? It was quite a challenge. So we stayed in that role for a time and enjoyed it. But there were some other opportunities that came up. So Brian stayed, and he had differing roles on campus. Ended up being the HR director, though, for 25, 26 years. Yeah. And I, as she said, went to Milliken. So that's our story, how we started at the village. Again, has changed very much over the years. Wage and Hour Board came in the 80s and said, you cannot make these people work 24 hours a day. So it went to shifts. So it's just like any other facility that's open 24 hours a day. There's 3 shifts. So the cottages have different workers. So it's a different mode than what we were used to. But it is what it is, and it's made the best of it, and it continues to thrive. So with all that said, Kemmer Village is helping today's child. I'm going to grab this mouse so I don't have to look backwards here all the time. And it truly does take a village. Back in the late 1800s, Philip Kemmer, who was a very successful farmer in the Assumption, Illinois area, left in his will his 400, it's recording everything I'm saying, so, his 400-acre farm for the use of, he's left it to the presbytery, for the use of the indigent and wanting. So it went from his idea of caring for whomever needed the help to, after he passed, his wife decided it should be a child welfare organization. So we minister to the children who face stress and turmoil in their lives. We carry out this mission through direct services to individual families and by assisting individuals to advocate for the needs and rights of children and families in their community. We're dedicated to serve the very special children entrusted in our care. And these children are children of trauma. They may have a background of, drugs in the family, all kinds of different situations. So, for whatever reason, they cannot continue in their birth home. They may have been in other foster homes. They may have been in other residential facilities. So these children many times are ones who have no consistency in their educational, backgrounds, very little consistency in life. So they can be a challenge, but it can also be extremely rewarding. And I'm not sure, I'm so sorry, I'm struggling with this. Sorry. No, you don't need to be sorry, Terry, it's me. So this is Philip Kemmer and his wife, Sarah. And I have found them fascinating. I've done a lot of genealogy on them, and her maiden name was Kemmer too.
Oh,
which I think
wow.
is really interesting. I found out it's a very common German name, though. So the house on the left of this is what was called the original orphanage, or better known when we were on campus as the Big House. Our current executive director asked us please to quit calling us that because the connotation of prison was a little too close for comfort. So, but as you can see, here's when it was an orphanage back in the 20s and 30s. Children were placed there that had no home or no family due to very many different reasons. So the children and everything took place in this 3-story home, which was just taken down last October, which was, it was sad, but there was about $2 million worth of work that needed to be made on it. And our goal is to care for children, not buildings. So that's why the decision was made to not continue supporting the Big House or the original orphanage. So back in the 60s, they started building these what's called cottages, but they're really like big ranch homes. And the idea of that, like I told you when Brian and I were house parents, was that the children would live in these home-like settings. So we had 5 of them. We still have them, but only 3 are used at this time for the residential program on campus. We're actually licensed for 80 children for 8 to 18 years of age. During COVID, Brian can attest to this, it was very, very difficult to find staff. So, and just all of the restrictions with the COVID situation. So we cut back the number of residential children that we care for. We're at 21 on campus, and I think that's the number that we'll stay with. It works for, just for everything, for getting staff, for all the care. So as the state of Illinois changes or looks at what's needed in our areas, there's more care needed out in the community. So we've added a community service program where we have children in foster care, adoption, parental classes, and there can be anywhere from 100 to 200 children in that program. So our numbers vary because there's so many variables. Children maybe that are in residential have a very successful turn at the village, and they go on to a different settings, such as a TLP, which is a transitional living program, more of a group home to help them get ready for adulthood. Our median age of children, you'll see little ones in a lot of the pictures. The youngest kid we have on campus right now is 11, and he's very small, but he's unusual. Most of the children are 15, 16, 17. So this gives you an idea of what the rooms look like. The kids have the opportunity to decorate their own rooms when they come in. Somebody mentioned quilts. As the children come in, they're given a quilt. We have quilts donated all the time. We have a quilt room in the building where my office is. And it's just something that the children really appreciate, the staff do. We have lots of different programs that are offered. As I mentioned, the community service. We just celebrated our 200th adoption. Many times foster parents will have children for several years and decide that they want to make them a permanent part of their family. So that's a huge celebration when that happens. So we have family counseling services, as I said, group homes, and we serve 5 different counties. The new building, the administrative building, it's not a very good picture, but this one is right here to the left. It's a beautiful building. It was built back in the 90s, Brian, I think. So the kids of today maybe different than what we had when we were an orphanage. The children that we care for may have behavioral and learning disorders, attention deficit, anxiety, bipolar disorder, oppositional disorders, autism, history of aggression. So these kids are challenging to work with. They truly are. But they are kids that are in so much need that it's just such an important thing, what we do. This is what the school used to look like. This was one room in the original orphanage. You can see the kids laying on the floor, and then back in the 80s, late 80s, they built an on-campus school. So we actually have a school on campus. We're part of the Central A&M School District, which is Central, Assumption, and Moweaqua. And I know you guys have a consolidated school. We have two schools, two villages, where you guys have 5, I believe, which is awesome. Beautiful facility with the school. The ratio is 1 to 4, 1 teacher to 4 children. All of our teachers are special education teachers certified, and junior and senior high school. The thing that I just find amazing about our teachers is it's almost like the old school, one-room schoolhouse in some ways, because the teacher may have a child that's on 3rd grade level. They could be 15 but still be on 3rd grade level. And then you may have somebody that's a senior level, and they're teaching history to both of those, or English in the other classroom. So our teachers are amazing, they truly are, and most of them have been here for quite a long while. This side of the building is our recreational therapy department, another wonderful program that we offer. The children after school have the opportunity to meet with recreational therapists. They have art, music, all kinds of sports programs you can't even imagine. Lots of games, just lots of activities to keep them busy. Which is important to keep these guys busy. The therapeutic recreational center has pool tables, ping pong tables. I mean, it's a fantastic asset to us. We're part of the IIAA, which is the Illinois Interagency Athletic Association. It's actually based at the village. So what we do with that is we have a director, and he reaches out, and the children at the village are part of a soccer. We're doing soccer right now. Most of these children would never have the opportunity to be on a team such as this if they were in a normal school. If they were in foster care, or got adopted and went to some high school, they more than likely wouldn't have the opportunity to be on an athletic team because of lack of talent, lack of experience, lack of good grades. So this gives these children an opportunity to be part of a team sport. So the Illinois Interathletic brings in other agencies from all over the state. Brian's now volunteering for me to do that. I help with the IIAA. We just had our state soccer match, and coming up in December, we have volleyball, a state volleyball tournament. We have agencies that come all the way from Chicago, Alton, Illinois, East St. Louis, all over the state. So all these children in all these different residential facilities have the opportunity to be a part of a sports team. What's emphasized in this is not winning. They don't even say win and lose. It's W and L. We don't use win and lose. We do W and L. But good sportsmanship, 100%. I have seen these tough kids that you would think if they got bumped, would just rather take a swing at somebody. But I've seen them time and time again where they will literally lean over and help somebody up on the opposing team, say, "Are you okay?" That's how much good sportsmanship and kindness is emphasized in our sporting program. So it's a little different than most sporting programs. It's just so heartwarming to see these kids because they don't have the experience, but it's a great opportunity. A couple of the groups that are coming from the Chicago area are Hispanic speaking, so that's another challenge that we've had to come up with. We have teams and coaches and caretakers that don't speak a word of English. So there's a need out there for bilingual, and I need to learn Spanish right away. This is our gym up here, top right. It's an older gym, but it's amazing. So the kids play basketball, volleyball, foursquare. There's all kinds of different games that they play in the gym. We have a softball field, a soccer field on campus, frisbee golf. This is not going any further, let me see. There we go. So another very unique program that we offer is equine therapy. I don't know how many of you enjoy horses. I grew up on a farm outside of Moequa. It was soybeans and corn. We had a pony that, poor Samson, I don't know, every once in a while he got a carrot, but we didn't ride him, needless to say. So I didn't have a lot of horse skills when I started the village, but I have fallen in love with these horses. We have 15 horses in our stable. 11 of them are gypsy vanners, which you'll see, probably the top right is the best example. They're a kind of draft horse. They're smaller than a Clydesdale, but in the same class as a Clydesdale. People look at them and think, why would you have these massively huge animals to be around kids? They are truly the most gentle animals I've ever been around. We have autistic kids that will ride on the horse. They stand on their backs, they twirl around, and the horse just plods along. You can't rattle these horses. You truly cannot rattle them. So they are perfect for our program. The thing that's amazing about our equine therapy program is the children on campus, when they get to a certain level, have the ability or the privilege to work with the horses. That's how it's looked at. They go over, they start out with grooming, cleaning out the stalls. You have to learn that that's just part of it. And they absolutely love it. Very few of the kids actually ride the horses. They would rather they braid their manes, they braid their tails. Our ponies have very fancy, they were painting one the other day with big red hearts. But we also have 2 other programs that go along with this. And this is our riding arena. You really can't see very well, but we're able to use it all year round because we have a beautiful, large arena inside. So the 2 other programs that we have that go along with just the equine therapy for campus and foster care is we have what's called Horses and Heroes, and this is offered for community children with special needs. So if a child has autism, cerebral palsy, we've had children that are nonverbal, children that are deaf, are able to come, and we have a registered Masters of Social Work and special training in equine therapy that helps these children. Now, these children in these programs ride the horses. It's very beneficial for them for balance, for building muscle. And then we also are now beginning to offer a program that's just called Ride. So anybody in the community can call and say, I have a 6-year-old, she's interested in horses, and they're able to come out and do that. What's happened is we were able to have 2 young ladies who are volunteers take the training, and they are now part-time employees at the village, so they help organize and carry out all of these special classes. And then we love our dogs too. We have 2 therapy dogs on campus. Kids love to go over to the barn and snuggle with the dogs. There's a picture of one of the kids wrapped up in a blanket with one of the dogs. This is a very old statistic, but 70% of kids at Kemmer Village return to a family home not requiring subsequent inpatient treatment from 2010 to 2014. With that said, we have so many wonderful people that support the village. We are, again, a part of the Presbyterian organization, and without all of the help, as I said, it takes a village, may take very many villages to help these children. We're getting ready for the Christmas holiday, and it's unbelievable. My job, again, I'm the volunteer supervisor, coordinator, and but I also take care of all of the mentors, take care of the volunteers, bringing them on, onboarding, scheduling, training, you know, troubleshooting, that type of thing. And then they've added interns, so I go to universities and speak to different groups to try to get interns. We've gone from having 0 interns in 2020 to having about 5 a year since I started. So, first of all, when you go to these universities and people say, "Where are you located?" And I say, "Well, we're outside of Assumption, Illinois." You just walk on by. Walk on by. But I said, what if we offered room and board? You know, we can't pay our interns. What if we offer room and board? So we have two locations on campus where we've had interns that literally come and live there. Most of them have online classes. They have Wi-Fi in the lodge, and so they hang out with us for a year. We had one young lady that lived with us for 2 years. She is an integral part of the village now. So, what else do I need to say? Again, we just appreciate being able to talk to you about the village and all of the special things that we offer to children in need. And I just know, I'm sure that you all are aware of how many troubled children there are right now. I'm sure there always has been. We have different labels now, different diagnoses, and different ways to treat the children. But we are very much tied into this very strongly, believe in what we do, and I just want to thank you for the opportunity to talk to you.